These are questions that EdHeads have been asking for over a decade, and we're close to a comprehensive answer. It's a complicated situation, but it doesn't need a complicated solution. EdHeads can solve each of these issues very easily. So let's address each of them one by one. Firstly, EdHeads provides weekly tasks in core subjects English and Maths for students to do in their own time between sessions. The tasks are set at the right level for each individual student and can be easily adjusted as students progress. On top of that, students have access to the entire curriculum from Key Stage 1 to Key Stage 4 to give them practice in most subjects. I hear you say, but my parents are concerned about their children having excess screen time. Well, I can't actually hear you say that, but I'm imagining that's what you're saying right now, and it is a very good point. The thing is, we don't encourage that kind of excess screen time. In fact, what we suggest is that, like going for a run every day, or maybe going for a walk, taking a quick trip to the gym, doing a little bit of exercise every day is better for the muscles than trying to blast through it all in one go and burn yourself out. The same thing applies to the brain. Doing just 10 minutes, 15, 20, building things up as you progress is a far better way. It's much more manageable, and it's a great starting point to build those good habits. As you can see here from your dashboard, you can adjust the number of tasks and the year of the student for each subject, English and Maths, just by a click of a button. This means that each student's experience is tailored specifically to them and will help them to build confidence over time. If things are getting too difficult, take it down a year. Too easy? Take them up. If they're not completing their tasks within their set week, well, take a few tasks away. If they're getting their tasks done too quickly, then just add a few. It's that easy. Also, it doesn't end there. Most services can only offer work in the core subject that they focus on. If you can offer your students practice in all of these subjects so they can see where there are gaps, help them to expand their knowledge, or to offer them practice before an upcoming test, how much value would that add to the service you're already providing? And if you're thinking about offering 11 plus, or you already are offering 11 plus, well, we've got content for you as well. And we're always working on new content for tutors. And now for that second issue, engaging with your customers. Now, every EdHead receives an email each week sent directly by us automatically with a detailed report of everything that took place in the previous week. That gives you a reason to be communicating with your customers during those long summer holidays, the spring break, and the winter break. And if families are going away for the holidays, well, there's no reason why the learning should stop. Offering online sessions at competitive prices becomes straightforward and easy with EdHeads as a tool. You can have multiple students in a session, each one getting on with their own work in a breakout room, and the tutor can then move between student to student, offering help where it's needed. And all of that pesky marking you're worried about? Well, EdHeads does it for you. Not only that, but the marking is done in exercise, giving the students the opportunity to understand why they're getting things wrong, how they're getting things wrong. Educationally, that is so important. Imagine taking a test and waiting an hour, a day, or even a week before you get your results. The third issue, diagnosis and remedy. Understanding and communicating progress is probably the area that EdHeads is the strongest. We know that parents like to see how their money's being spent. And what do they like to see the most? Results. Well, with EdHeads, they get more detail than you will find anywhere. Our reporting system goes into granular detail, and both you and your customers can access it 24/7. You can go from subject through to each topic and even see each attempt and answer to analyze exactly where students are doing well, where they're making progress, and where they need that extra help. It's like having an X-ray device that can pinpoint all of the problem areas. It can save time and hassle for both tutor and student because they're not going over the same ground they've already covered, and it can really fast-track progress. Before any session, whether it's in person or online, a tutor can spend a few minutes to look at every single report and see how things are going, adding a note to each student to keep track of where focus is needed for future reference, and even assigning additional tasks so that they know where to be focusing their energies. Targeted, focused, efficient, and powerful. So, how do we fix the motivation problem? Well, EdHeads is already on top of that. As you've already seen, using the reports to target where problems are speeds up progress and builds confidence. More motivation. Setting tasks for students to complete and feel a sense of personal achievement and accomplishment. More motivation. Providing them with lessons to watch in English, maths and science so that they can take control of their own education and feel like they're doing it for themselves. More motivation. But then we add an element of fun. Being able to play a game between answering a question or questions. A game that isn't part of the exercise and the exercise isn't part of the game. But the game does respond positively to questions being answered correctly, keeping the student engaged and wanting to get the answer right as much as possible. But if they don't get the answer right, they still get to play the game. And these games, beyond being motivational and engaging, can have their own mental and educational benefits. Hand-to-eye coordination, reflexes, puzzle solving, and more. They give the student a way to break up the work. For those with attention deficit problems, autism, or other learning difficulties, it's an invaluable tool. And the great part is, the more work they do, the more credits they earn. The more credits they earn, the more games they can unlock. And so the cycle continues, building those good habits. Also, they can use those credits to customize their avatar in any way that they want with either realistic or wild and wacky characters. At the end of each exercise, as well as getting a mark for the work that they've done, every EdHead also gets a score for the game that they've played, if they've chosen to play one. And what do points mean? Well, not prizes in this particular case, but they do mean leaderboards. We've got a leaderboard for every individual game and an overall leaderboard for the entire platform. EdHeads can communicate in a very simple form by letting each other know how they've scored and getting them to engage with each other in collaborative games. And what does all that mean? More motivation. So, you get all this content and all that added value to give to your students and their families. Parents have a tool they can use to engage with their children, giving them a better understanding of where they are and allowing you to have more meaningful conversations with them, building a better relationship, which will in turn lead to referrals for your business, allowing you to grow into a year-round profit-making machine. EdHeads makes learning fun, engaging, and easy for students and for you, whilst giving practical, objective, detailed reports so that the people paying for it have a clear understanding about the value that you are delivering to their families.